What did people over a century ago actually imagine our world would look like today? It's fascinating to look back and see how many of their predictions totally nailed it, or are just about to become a reality. In this video, we're going to dive into the brilliant, and sometimes just plain bizarre, ideas that people from 100 to 150 years ago had about the future. We'll explore their visions and see how they stack up against our world today. Our first stop, the year 1882. A French artist named Albert Robida created an incredible illustration he called "Leaving the Opera in the Year 2000. It showed a sky packed with flying vehicles. Everything from private airships to flying taxis and buses, all buzzing around. He even imagined the sky looking like a giant aquarium, with some of the vehicles shaped like massive whales. Now, here's the wild part. When Robida drew this, the cars we know today didn't even exist yet. The very first car with a modern-style engine, the Benz patent motor wagon, came out in 1886, a full 4 years after this drawing, and it would be another 21 years before the Wright brothers even made their first flight in 1903. But here's a hilarious detail in Robida's vision of 2000. The women are still wearing full Victorian-style dresses, and the police officers are carrying swords. So, did his flying vehicles fill our skies by the year 2000? Not exactly. But today, flying cars are actively being developed, and some experts predict they could hit the market very soon. So maybe Robida's dream is just a little late to the party. Alright, let's jump forward to 1900. 14 years before World War I, a German chocolate company called Hildebrands ran a brilliant ad campaign for the Paris World's Fair. They printed a series of cards called Germany in the Year 2000 and put them inside candy wrappers. These cards showed off the wild advancements they imagined for the next 100 years. And some of their ideas were just, wow. They pictured things like moving sidewalks, entire city blocks that could be moved on rails, live broadcasts of theater shows, machines that could control the weather, submarines for tourists, roofs that would make entire cities waterproof, personal flying machines, tourism to the Arctic, police using X-ray surveillance, and my personal favorite, a device that let you walk on water using a personal hot air balloon. Okay, so we're still waiting on a few of these, but you have to admire the sheer creativity. Around the same time, in 1899, another French artist, Jean-Marc Coty, was creating similar illustrations, also likely for the Paris World's Fair. His series, called In the Year 2000, was printed on everything from cigarette boxes to postcards. One of his most famous images shows a mailman delivering letters in a personal flying machine, which looks surprisingly similar to the concept of modern-day delivery drones. What he couldn't have predicted, of course, was the internet, and the fact that we'd be sending messages instantly through email and social media instead of writing physical letters. But he didn't stop there. His other illustrations showed a woman using a robotic cleaner on her floor, automated barber robots, a classroom where a teacher grinds up books and feeds the information directly into students' heads through wires. Kind of a creepy version of an audiobook, right? Firefighters with wings, flying in to put out fires from above. And get this, a servant playing a recorded voice message for the homeowner on a phonograph. Basically, 19th century voicemail. He also drew some even wilder concepts like a ferry pulled by a whale, automated farming machines, and even underwater hockey. The imagination was just off the charts. Alright, let's move on to our next prediction, which was all about picture phones. Think about it. Today, video calling is something we don't even think twice about. We all have it right in our pockets on our phones. But what's really wild is that just 20 years ago, this kind of technology was still straight-up science fiction for most of us. Now get this, over 100 years ago, people were already predicting it. Back in 1918, a magazine called Electrical Experimenter reported, and I'm quoting here, "Numerous inventors have busied themselves trying to create a device or machine that would allow one person to see another while talking on the telephone. But so far, nothing practical has resulted." The writer went on to predict that this device would probably be called the telephone, and that its invention was inevitable because, quote, "everyone would want such an instrument." I mean, their description of being able to see and hear a friend who's 5 blocks away, or even 1,000 miles away, was just shockingly accurate for 1918. A few years later, in 1924, Practical Electrics magazine also predicted a similar device. Theirs was imagined to have moving images so realistic that, according to the article, you could even use it to pull off a robbery. And check out this illustration from 1930 by an unknown artist. It shows that same futuristic idea, people casually chatting with each other through a screen. Next up, in 1923, Practical Electrics magazine published a design for a robotic dog. And here's the best part, they included instructions so readers could actually build it themselves. The concept was pretty simple. A small, battery-powered machine on wheels that used a magnet to follow a metal cane. Now, it might have had a cute little face, but let's be real, you couldn't expect it to roll over, play fetch, or run for help if you got sick. Today, the idea of an artificial pet doesn't seem all that strange. But the fact that a magazine in 1923 wasn't just imagining it, but was actually sharing the blueprints for how to build one, that is seriously impressive. You have to remember, when these artists and inventors lived, technology was just starting to take off. Compared to what we have today, their progress seems tiny. But their imagination, it was absolutely huge. Imagine trying to explain to them that one day we'd be able to type just a few words and instantly access a world of information through something called the internet and later artificial intelligence. They probably wouldn't have believed a word of it. But their vision of the future, absolutely brilliant and inspiring. So, I've got a question for you. Which one of these predictions did you find the most fascinating? And here's a fun one. If you had to draw what life will look like 100 years from now, what kind of inventions would you come up with? Share your ideas down in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more amazing stories from the past and the future.